It's the Jim Fannin Show. We've come to take your mind.
Am I still on?
No, I had it on mute. My mic.
And here we go. Coming in a little bit early, we're going to manage the guest. DJ Blade is first. He's my barber, my good friend, and hell of a DJ. We're going to talk to Clayton Gush and Andy Jean. Buckle up and welcome aboard. The DJ hits the mark before the next song comes on. Blade, my brother. How are you, my boy? I got your fake book page up here. I know you want to stay kind of anonymous, but too late now. Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, sorry, I did not give you the thumbs up. Here's my boy.
Hey, what's up, my friend Jim Fannin?
Brother?
How are you?
It's good. He only calls me Jim the handsome Fannin after he cuts my hair. When I walk in, he doesn't refer to me as Jim the handsome Fannin. How are you, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I haven't called you like that because you're up for a haircut. It's been like a week since I cut your hair last time.
I know, it's 10 days for sure. So thanks for taking the time. I know you got a prior engagement and you got to get rolling. So thanks for taking the time to come on. Just for people that don't know you already, you're pretty well known in the Dominican Republic. Tell us who you are, where you came from, and how you got to here.
Well, that's a long story. First of all, I get here in 2009, and I come actually just for 2 days. It was my very first time in the North Coast, and like many people are going to identify with what I'm going to say next, I fell in love with the place, and I decided to move here. And also on these 2 days of holidays, vacations, I find, uh, uh, place to work here. And I say like, well, why not? I don't have nothing to lose. And I see more working opportunities, more people. And that's why I decided to come here and stay. And it's been 13 years now.
Nice. Santiago, you're from, right? Your family's from Santiago?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Santiago, in the center of Santiago. Yeah, I was the first one that come here. Then my mother, my sister followed me here, and now we all here.
Nice. And in addition to cutting hair, you're spinning tracks as well. You got a new gig, well, a recurring gig at Flip Flops on Sunday, I guess. What's how you finding the DJ business? What are you playing?
I am in Flip Flop every Sunday from 3 p.m. until 7 p.m. Every afternoon, every Sunday, you find me on Flip Flop, and the rest of the days in the week, you find me from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. here on Max Barbershop. That's on Dr. Rosen number 8, right across of Hotel Casa Valeria. Yeah, the place that you had your last 2 haircuts.
Down by the New Garden Hotel there, across the street. Yeah, across the street from the Valeria. And it's called MAG, right? The barbershop?
Max Barbershop, MIG, yeah.
MIG.
It's one of the most well-known barbershop. It's been open almost 10 years. And me and the personal, I've been, since 2009 cutting hair here. And I'm moving here now, and yeah, you can, if you guys need a haircut, you can come here and you can find me here.
And flip off your WhatsApp number so we know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, my number is 881-9734. All right, so I'm gonna throw my social media also, like Facebook, Instagram too. You can find me as Blade Isidore, Siidor, and DJ Blade RD on Instagram.
DJ
Yeah, I
Blade.
gotta say thank you. Thanks for the break. Thanks for giving me a little bit of this time, in your space, in your show.
It's my pleasure, my
Yeah,
brother.
thanks
You're
a
a good
lot.
man, and I appreciate your time tonight. So we'll get you in at another time, and we'll go deeper into the issues and talk about your journey to Sosua and how you got to where you are. Here's AJ on the screen. I don't know if you can see him, Andy Jean. This is my boy DJ Blade. He's just on the way out because he's got a prior commitment at 7 o'clock, so I wanted to squeeze him. I rolled a little bit early. So you're actually live right now, AJ. Thanks for coming in on time.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure.
Blade, we'll catch you later, man. Thank you for your time. I love you, brother.
I love you too. Thanks for the opportunity.
Peace out. You're welcome.
All right, DJ Blade.
What's up, AJ? How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm feeling great, man. I got a little stogie right here just in case.
Okay.
We have a good time. The boys are having a conversation.
I got you. I got my.
This might be water, but it can also be adult beverage.
I'm drinking straight moonshine.
Oh, that look like moonshine, brother.
Yeah.
That's coconut water.
Coconut water cut with water. Yeah, I cut it with water just to make the water or the coconut water.
The coconut, man. I love the coconut water here. It's incredible. Really, really.
Yeah, the
good.
water's not so great though. It's distilled. It's got everything stripped out of it. I come from home, and then they had the ricochet water where they left all the minerals and the kelp and the calcium and all the good stuff in it and took the bad stuff out. So I'm getting readjusting to my new water down here. That's kind of stripped clean of everything. It's not RO. I think it's distilled. So.
All right.
Anyways, just before Clayton gets in, what do you got cooking, man? What's new? You got any hot listings you want to tell the peeps about?
Right now I got a listing in Seahorse Ranches. I got 2 in Sosua, 1 in Hispaniola. I'm gonna make it public. But the only thing is with the 1 in Seahorse, man, I'm getting this thing where there's owners that don't want to put their houses public on websites or what's that about? Maybe I could ask you about that so I could learn more about it. 'Cause, we don't have a public MLS system.
I get it, but I don't get it and this is part of the conversations we need to have with our
So
vendors.
it's not new to you, what I'm telling you.
Well, it's not new when you're talking about commercial listings like businesses, because a lot of times they don't want their clients to know that they're selling because they fear that they're going to lose their business or they're going to get unwanted questions. But the problem is that the buyer usually is generated out of your client base. Like somebody that comes to your hotel on a regular basis is going to be the buyer of your hotel. So not telling your the best audience for that, it's either one of your clients or one of your clients' friends. We're already live, Clayton, so thanks for jumping in. This idea that you can sell a property by being a secret agent or keeping it secret and not telling anyone is a bad move. Ooh. What happened?
Hey there.
Clayton. Ooh, I'm getting.
We're having technical difficulties. But I have it sorted. So.
I'm getting a bad echo now.
Okay.
Okay, well, log out and come back in, Clayton.
Okay.
We still got the echo? No, we're good.
Yeah.
So this idea
probably has two apps open.
Yeah, this is the idea. You want to tell everyone about your property. You want to be able to tell the agents, and you want to be able to tell your clients. So, I get it. If if you get a $6 million property, maybe you don't want anyone to know, but it's not helping your.
I'm aware. I mean, I've dealt with some private listings of such, but there is some sort of a network you can filter it through. Now I know I like the property I posted in the group, the $23 million St. Martin property. Obviously, the owner of that property is someone that's extremely popular, and they could create commotion in the market if their property is listed publicly for sale. So I get it, in some situations. But here, I didn't know on the island there was much of that going on, so it's pretty unique for me.
Same thing as anywhere, but yeah, the Seahorse Ranch is an interesting complex, and I love the restaurant on the break wall there that
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Joe from what's the Mexican place beside in our
You
plaza?
mean the gatehouse, the beach house? Is it a beach?
No,
The
beach
beach
place.
restaurant?
No, but he runs the Mexican restaurant in our plaza. What's it called? Gorditos. Yeah, it's Joe from Gorditos that runs the Seahorse Ranch restaurant now. So it's good, and their pizza's dynamite too. But Millennium's got good breaded eggplant parmesan. Ooh. And then the food truck's got a really good sushi.
Yes, I tried that. And in Quantra, right? It's pretty good.
Quentro, yep, definitely. How you feeling, Clayton? Everything good?
Good. How are you?
Got some.
How's that?
No, I'm feeding back like crazy.
You might have a couple of apps open, maybe 2 apps that has audio perhaps, and it's feedback.
Okay, let me see. Hang on. I'll close everything. I'm going to log out one more time and come back.
Check 1, 2. Oh, it's fixed now. There's no echo now.
It is? Are we all right?
Yeah, it seems to be good.
Okay.
Yeah, just flip your phone. That perfect. You guys switch positions on me. It's all good. Well, welcome aboard, brother. We're going to keep it nice. Keep it nice and tight tonight. We're just talking about some new listings that AJ brought in, and what do you got cooking?
Me?
Yeah. You got any hot new listings you want to tell us about?
Well, we've got one up in Hacienda del Choco. We did an open house there. It is $795. It's a 3-bedroom, unbelievable, like Virginia mountain hills view. Bathtub on 10,000 meters. It's a beautiful listing.
10,000 meters. What's that in acres?
I think it's about 2 acres. I'm sorry, half an acre. So.
Yeah, you're right. 20,000 square feet is roughly 10,000 meters, so half acre. Good sized lot. Backs onto, what are we comparing it to? The Virginia Hills, the Dominican.
It just looks like, I don't know. Every time I'm there, it looks like the Virginia Hills. I've never been to the Virginia Hills, but that's my. If I had to describe it, that's how I would describe it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, decent property, and $795. What's the square footage there? How many bedrooms that thing got?
It's almost 4,000 square feet. Okay. It's 3 bedrooms. It's 5 baths. It's weird though. It's 4.5 baths the way they would say. Each bedroom is an ensuite. The master bedroom has a big bathtub. Double sink, double closets. Like there's a wall, a passageway you walk through with incredible. If people are into closets, it's definitely a listing.
Huge
from that
bathroom,
regard.
Waterfall off the pool.
Yeah, waterfall. Yeah, wooden floors in the primary bedroom, which is pretty weird. Not weird, but uncommon. Unusual here.
Yeah, uncommon for sure. You guys seem to have the same screensaver in the background. Your virtual background looks like you're in some sort of Dominican paradise or something. Where are you guys?
Casa Linda.
Both of you, eh?
Casa Linda.
Casa Linda. Sell it all day, living it at night.
All the kids are doing it. So.
Yeah, I think our 2 best deals that we had in there, the 6 bedrooms sold, and we got a conditional offer on the 5 bedroom, and now everyone wants to buy it. So it's conditional until the 3rd, and I'm not used to doing conditional offers down here, but they just landed in town today, so we'll be down there tomorrow. So if you're looking to snag that $400,000 listing up with the 5 bedrooms, it produces $420 a night income. You're gonna have to wait and see if something else comes up. So
we do have. We remember we did another one with our good friend Marina. It's a 3-bedroom in Casa Linda, and it's listed at $435.
Okay.
I'd say $4,500 to $5,500 a month. In net revenues. I mean, there's a history behind it. It's great shape, very modern, completely furnished, totally turnkey. Just buy it and go.
Did you sell the cheap one that you listed? Didn't you list one at $350 as well? It was all done up.
You talking
yeah. Yeah, we had a 2-bedroom at 359. That actually closes. It's a done deal, but
Oh,
that
okay.
closes in next month.
We need some
So-
more resales in Casa Linda because the wait time for the new stuff is being pushed back so far, and so for people that want to get in there and get their income rolling right away, we're going to have to find some more resales in there to get them in.
Yeah, they exist. There's people that for various reasons. I mean, I think there's over 420, 430 existing homes between the first 3 phases. I think they're building another 100, and then I think there's another 70 or 80 on order on top of that. So, yeah, they did. Build costs have gone up. They did raise the prices. That caused a little bit of a kerfuffle with people, but I mean, I had a client the other day who's a real estate agent in Canada, wants to come down. He's got 4 kids and wants to buy down here. And I told him about the price increase. He's like, "Hey, if it was my company, I'd raise the price too."
Yeah.
But still, I mean, I understand some of the, why people would be upset, and there's different conditions. So, but you can still get a 2-bedroom house for $249,000. You can get a 2-bedroom Sun or Capri. So, and I don't think there's all that many places out there where you can still buy a 2-bedroom house, brand new, as you want it, with a pool for under 250,000.
Yeah.
I mean, Clayton, my experience with Casa Linda, I mean, obviously, I have to admit it's a really incredible setup in terms of, and one of the uniqueness that I must say that I like with the villas here is how every square inch is utilized, whether it's a 2-bedroom, but it's on a, 400 or 500 meter lot, or et cetera. But, you have the pool area, you have the jacuzzi area, like our backdrops right now, right? You have utilization outside. I know a lot of folks are used to being in condos and cooped up. And I know myself personally, I spend probably at least 40-50% of my time just enjoying the outdoors. I mean, look, I'm watching the sunset right behind you. It looks so perfect, picture perfect. So that's one of the uniqueness that I love. So
not a screensaver. So
I know. I'm just saying. I think Clayton didn't get it in the beginning, Jim. But it's such an incredible infrastructure. The way they think of family, they think of you can have an office outdoor. Like I have an office right by my my kind of bar, my wet bar, which if you may. There's a TV. I can work there. So you're utilizing every square inch of the place. So that I think we have to point that out. So when you hear a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom, and where I'm from, you're thinking it's a tiny little lot. There's no backyard. There's no front yard. There's nothing. There's no wiggle room. You're just in this home. Here, it's different. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make that point.
Yeah, 100%.
Back to you, Jim.
No,
and now back to our Jim.
And the amenities are great there too. I mean, the restaurant is one of my favorites as far as they've got one of my favorite dish there, the smoked salmon and shrimp pasta, Alfredo sauce. It's delicious. It's pretty much the only thing I've ever ordered when I go there. So, and then they've got the mini putt and the wet park, and there's so many facilities there, and then more coming online as well too, right?
With the new phase, well, there's connections where they're going to be building a gym and a restaurant. That's over by Encuentro, and then here at let's call it Casa Linda Main Camp. They're talking about another fine dining restaurant, a gymnasium. I think they're adding a tennis court. And people got to understand that this takes time. It's not happening on Wednesday, but it's coming, and as far as I think this is going to be one of the bigger. It is now, but I think it's going to be one of the bigger communities in the area in the very near future, and. I know they're talking about even adding something like another 300 homes, lots that they can sell. I'm sure they're just trying to sort what they've got on their plate right now, and once that gets sorted.
And the new stuff coming online will be Confiture. Have they released information on Confiture for the new stuff?
Yeah, the story behind that, and one thing you learn when you live in a country like the DR is you can really never talk in definitives like, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. They've applied. There's no reason they wouldn't get it, but it hasn't been granted yet. It's a government agency that applies Confertor, and Confertor is just for those who don't know, it's a subsidy. It's basically it's a tax-free, no property tax, no title transfer tax, at sale, and that goes for 15 years. So if they're granted, that's nice, and that's 1% per year and 3% on the title transfer tax. So.
I got word from one of my buyers that they are a green light on that now, that they are actually approved. So we have to double check that with Casa Linda, but he told one of my clients that has a deposit down that yes, they are in for Confertor.
Oh.
So we'll have to double check that before we.
We'll have to check our secret source on that and see if that's true.
Good. What else you got going on, boys? We had a good breakfast meeting today. Every Tuesday in the office. Steps from the beach at the main traffic signal. There's only one traffic light in Cabarete. We're at Ocean Dream Plaza, Viva Dominican Properties. It's right beside Remax. Remax never opens their doors. We're there every day, 8 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night almost. And
I did bring the hedge trimmer down there the other day, and I trimmed the entire project hedge. And by the way, I got in trouble for this, and I have the scratches to prove it. But I drove by and I said, "You can't see our sign." And I'm like, "Oh, what the hell?" So I brought my hedge trimmer in there, and I was there 6 o'clock in the morning, and I trimmed the whole place. So, and they gave me what the Dominicans call a boche, which is like a
tongue lashing.
Yeah. So I got in trouble for it, but. That's how I roll. That's how we roll at Viva. You don't like something, fix it. So.
Hey, that's someone else's income you took away from right there, Clayton.
I actually paid the security guard some extra money to help me clean up all the clippings. We did the full job.
It's a joint effort.
A friend of mine's got a 3D printer she wants to bring down here to do community housing and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. Anything that takes jobs away from local Dominicans might not. She says, oh, no, it doesn't take any of the labor. You still need the labor, but the 3D printer, it's got to take jobs away, man. I don't know how they feel about that down here.
3D printing the cement like that?
The whole building, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's how construction's going to go. But, look, I kind of agree with, the fact that it's, that perhaps the bricklaying part of it might become more efficient. But I mean, you still have all the finishing work to do there. And that's not nothing. I mean, in fact, I think that's a major part of the build is doing all the finishing work. I mean, the monolithic structure goes up pretty quick. And from what I understand about that, it is very, here we are in supposed hurricane country. I say supposed because I've lived here 10 years and every hurricane has like bounced off the island and we've sent a lot to Florida. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Here in the DR, it's been, I've got friends telling me, oh, be safe, God be with you. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's windy and rainy, but we're okay. So.
And you have some guys out here kite surfing meanwhile.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and for those watching in North America, well, I guess we're technically still in North America, but for those in Canada and the United States, you'll notice that the sun is going down here in Dominican Republic right now, and you got another hour of sunlight where you're at. This is something I had a hard time getting used to, and when my company comes down, they're like, dude, it's 7:30. It's getting dark. And I'm like, yeah, we don't have the 9:30 sunsets like we do in my hometown.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because everyone wants to start going and having a good time. So we want to get our sunset over early, and so you can.
Yeah, can you speak?
I want to segue to what you just said, Jim. I had an experience where I had dinner with a friend, and I think I mentioned this last time. Where after the dinner, he's like, "I'm out," because that's what we do when we have a meeting. We're out. He's like, "Listen, I'm going to sit here and just watch the sunset." It was truly amazing. I have to share that experience, and I sat there with them. I'm like, man, I've heard of this, right? I've tried to do it, but it was just such an amazing experience right there at waterfront. The layout, the sunset, the people were just walking, having a great time. It definitely dropped my blood pressure a few points.
We went down to Alicia last night, and the sun went down 5 minutes early because it hits the mountains. As from that perspective, so which beach do I got to get to where I can watch the sun go into the water at this time of the year? Is Casa Marina Beach? Does it go into the water, or still go over the mountains? Like, where am I going to see the sun go into the water?
At the beach club at Seahorse Ranch. I have a photo of it
Oh, okay.
sitting there.
Recently?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
last year or two.
Oh no, because and well, you know how the sun slides down the horizon too. As summer gets here, in the winter it's way west, and then it
Right.
seems to be more east. It treks east until the longest day,
Yeah.
which is June 21st. But I think it starts going back again. But yeah, I got to find a place where I can see the sunset going into the water. And what's up with the humpback breaching in Sosua Bay the other day, or was that outside of? Maybe it was outside of Seahorse Ranch. So you don't see the humpbacks down here that much. You usually got to go down to Salmon to see them. You see that video?
No, I hear they go here, but actually everyone's seen them but me. I've lived here 11 years, and I've been completely eluded by never seeing a whale here. So,
I guess
So the pictures are absolutely real.
oh wait, yeah.
No, I said the pictures are absolutely real. I've seen the pictures too. I haven't had a chance to see it too. So I'm with you, Clayton.
No, yeah. No, rumor has it that they do. You know, I mean, this is part of their migration path. They come down the East Coast, and they head on the north side of the island and out towards the Salmon Peninsula, where that's sort of the breeding ground. And then I think they have their babies and then head back north. So
I spent a couple days in Los Terrenos this week, or last week, and man, the population of scooters is unruly down there. It's 10 times the number of cars. And George tells me down here at George's Oasis Bar, my Russian friend, that they don't have public transportation, so everyone drives moto. But nice place, wide beaches, and you can walk forever on those beaches.
also
in Los Terrenos.
ATVs, that's a popular thing when with the kids and I, like if you live here, where do you go on vacation? We go to Los Terrenos, and so a favorite part of that for the kids is always like, oh, we're gonna get ATVs, cool, and so I maybe bad parently let them drive ATVs around. It's a scary thing with your kids, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun thing down there. And to me, the roads are a little calmer in a way. I mean, not calmer, less cars, and
Coming
more
through that
conducive.
toll road in the mountains is just breathtaking, and there's so much vacant land in front of that highway, that toll road. I look at it and I'm just like, what? And there's no access to it. I don't know if it's all government land or whatever, but there's no exit to get down there. I don't know what the hell all that beachfront.
Did you see the cave?
Yeah, right off the highway. Awesome.
That's stunning. Yeah, if you go in there, it's pretty cool. There's stalactites and stalagmites in there, and yeah, it makes a great photo spot too, because then you got the road coming on the backside there. Yeah, everything about that whole drive down there is pretty stunning.
Except the cops. The cops will stop you for speeding, so take it easy. And don't have a $50 American bill to pay the 500 peso toll, because the guy bent me over so hard that he wouldn't take a tip after he changed my money. He refused even 50 pesos afterwards. That's how good he got me. I gave him a $50 bill. He gave me $17.50 back in pesos, and that was a pretty good commission for that kid. So, but I'm glad to pay it. Well, I'm happy to pay it most of the time, and wages aren't real great down here, and I find myself tipping everyone, the people to bring my groceries to my car, and normally I don't do that either, but I just kind of fell into the Dominican way of life. It's kind of everyone pays to have the kid come to your car, so I'm giving the guy 100 pesos every time he brings my groceries out, even though I can carry them myself most of the time.
No, Jim, I love it. I remember as a kid, believe it or not, my first job was at a supermarket pushing carts. Back then, on the island in the Bahamas, you didn't push it to a car. Half of the people back then didn't have cars. You pushed the car to their homes. Because remember, markets were like literally in the neighborhood, so it's probably a few blocks away. So I remember those days, and trust me, that $1 bill meant a lot. So, and these guys, they have a big smile on their face. They're giving you advice, and you can ask some questions. What's going on in the city, And me, that little short trip from the inside to the car, it's worth something. So, you know, we give bellmen, you know, money, you know, to just bring our bags in hotels. I mean, these guys, they definitely deserve it for sure.
Yeah. I think, you know, I think anywhere you go in the world, tipping is, you know, I mean, it's something that I think some people overlook down here and shouldn't, but, you know, the local people certainly appreciate it when you do take care of them. I know at the grocery store, when I go get my groceries, I'll give them 100 or even 200. Around the holidays, even 500 pesos, which is about $10. But I think since I've lived here, I don't think I've carried a bag ever, a grocery bag. And the really great part is around the holidays when there's big lines at the grocery store, I've had them open up aisles for me. Hey, Clayton, come on over here. And so, and you know, the way I look at it, it's like a couple bucks, you know, out of my grocery bill. It helps them out. I mean, that might even be a quarter or a half day's wage for them. And, you know, it's just, it's a good way to give back. And, you know, they're not standing there begging for money. They're working, they're hustling. And I think that's a fair thing to do. So,
yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, Clayton, can you speak to residency, how easy it is down here and how the government really pushes the foreign investment thing? And I know you've got yours. They've tightened up the rules a little bit, but with a certain, if you bring in a business down here, you're buying property, you almost immediately qualify. You don't have to get married.
Yeah, they have changed the rules since I've done it. I mean, I was lucky that I got in. I got in kind of early and got my residency filed, and I've just been in a sort of a renewal state every year. But there's a process you have to go through. You know, one way to sort of expedite is if you do buy property down here, you know, that and make an investment, what you want to do is you want to start that process of investing in the DR. You can work with an attorney before you make the house purchase. Then there's stuff like you have to get a letter of good conduct from your hometown, you know, which would be like a, you know, in the US it'd be like a federal background check, you know, or letter from your local PD, information from your bank. But we could put you in touch with people that would help sort of get your residency put together. But that's a good thing to do to start down here because it gives you all sorts of advantages. You can bring down a container, you can bring down a vehicle. You know, it sort of helps you with the tax situation. And plus, once you have that residency, getting in and out of the country is pretty easy. You know, and if you're planning on opening a business, even a little, you know, bar, hot dog stand, or you know, whatever, having residency definitely is an advantage.
And you can get a Dominican driver's license. You need your residency for that.
By the way, yeah, I got my Dominican driver's license, and I got to say, for all the time I've ever spent in the California Department of Motor Vehicles, you know, hours on end, you know, trying to, you know, waiting for the number to come up, 30 minutes to the bank, paying the fees, going there, having my picture taken, handing me a card, less than 30 minutes. Wow. And I thought, man, this is like world record for driver's license.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I was at a military and tactical show in the U.S. and I was talking to a California highway patrolman, and I said, "Hey," and I handed him my Dominican driver's license. I said, "Question: if I come to California, can I drive with this?" And he says, "Is it valid?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Are you a resident in California?" I said, "No." He says, "Yeah, you can drive with it for 30 days." I'm like, "Wow." You know, so.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What happened? Oh.
A little light shift just went down. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you still look well lit to me, my brother.
Yeah.
All right, boys. What else
I
we
have a
got
little
to
extra
hit?
light just in case, because remember, in case it got really dark, so got a little help in the back.
What else are we hitting?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously, I mean, we covered a few things, obviously, you know, and I'm always interested in talking about, you know, the transition, for example. Primarily, you know, we've talked about residency, we've talked about listings in terms of, you know, the type of properties you're able to get, the quality of the bills, and all the different variety of options that developers here have for you. But what would you advise someone? For example, I had a really cool conversation with a friend last night. I posted this incredible video on my IG, and you know, with Jim and also you, Clayton. And a few people hit me up and like, hey, what's going on? Da da da. And they're like, man, I'm ready to move to the DR. Why? Because like a lot of folks, they are looking at really, really, I would say, really great videos that show really nice lifestyle here, and you know the facility of living here. So, what would you advise someone? Because he asked me the same question. He said two questions. He asked me, should I buy a condo or a villa? And the second thing he said, should I rent then or rent then build? So this is what's been coming towards me. How would you guys answer that?
Can I jump
Rent
in?
versus rent versus buy, and of course the do you rent a condo or a villa?
Well, if you happen to stumble upon any of our agents, you know, one thing we like to do with our clients is give them sort of, you know, not just the wham bam tour. We like to, you know, show them the different communities, because I think it's pretty important. I mean, there's a definite subset of, let's call them micro communities, you know, just here on the North Coast between Puerto Plata and say Rio San Juan. You know, more central would be Cabarete and Sosua. And, you know, I think it's pretty important that people see the different communities and understand the pros and the cons. I mean, and I think another role I personally have as an agent is to tell people sort of the good, the bad, and the ugly about each community, so that, you know, they kind of come in fully knowledgeable about what they're getting into in each community, because, you know, they all have their pros and their cons. And what struck a chord with me is the question about condo versus villa, because I recently had a client, they were asking me that, and I thought about it. So basically, in my opinion, if you get a condo, you don't have things to deal with like a pool or a garden, you know, which would require a pool guy and a gardener. Not that that's expensive here. And but you know, I think one of the critical differences is, do you want to be in your own private pool and chill by your pool, or do you want a condo where everything's sort of handled and, you know, but you're sharing the pool with, you know, 400 of your other neighbors, you know? So I think that those are kind of two critical points. So.
I got a nice condo for rent over here on the main floor that looks at an 80-foot pool and the most luscious, mature gardens you've ever seen for $650 a month. It's vacant on May 1st. Little one bedroom, 65 square meters, but hydro's extra. My hydro bill is about $20 a month here, and it's the same style unit. But I don't run my air all that much, but you know, for those that, and you know, you can take this thing long term as well. Maybe we'll even work you a deal off the price at $650 if you're taking it for a year or two or whatever and prepaying up front. I've got a couple people that want it for November to March, and I was kind of like, I don't really want to make that commitment for my vendor or my owner, because you know, those, you know, I'd rather get a long-term tenant now that's going to take it for a year than have to get someone from now till November and move them out so that the other guys can move in. But he's open to it. He says, yeah, if I get half up front, I'll take it. But nice unit in a great building. Caribe Campo, one of my favorites. Oh, and there's nothing like this around the island, man. I haven't seen anything. I guess there's kind of one up in La Mulata. What's that one called in La Mulata? It's kind of similar. Condos all around a huge pool with an island in the middle.
La Mulata?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the facility.
Like when you go up the mountain all the way past the school?
Yeah.
It's on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I got some videos of it on my channel, but I can't remember. But that's about the only thing I've seen that's similar to it, with, you know, 100 condos surrounding a huge pool, and you know, all the maintenance is done, and
that's a really nice development up there. I've seen it. Yeah, I can't think of the name now either, but yeah,
brain goes to mush when the camera's rolling. Mine does, anyways.
All right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. What you know, just to go back to the question that I asked. I mean, obviously, I mean, there's benefits to, I'm guessing, the condo and villa, and what was one of the questions that I felt that was necessary was, when you say you're moving here, did you mean forever, ever? Because that's important, right? Because if you're not planning on occupying your property forever, right? Because it's probably dual residency, then it's best to perhaps get a condo where, in the next follow-up was, can I make money, right? So for me, it wasn't too much of a difficulty in terms of him only wanting to live here part-time. and also him wanting to make income, then I look at the villa, the maintenance, and perhaps having management. It may be a much more difficult property to put on his portfolio compared to someone who actually lives here or may have like a more, I would say, a more structured setup. You know, that was like how I approached it with him, and he said, "Man, that makes a lot of sense." And the reason why that question was such a great question to me was because I had to answer the same question, right? You know, am I coming here permanent? I remember the first time I came here, I had a villa, and I had an emergency call, and I had to go back to the U.S. And I'm like, man, just trying to get a whole villa, you know, to your cheers and this and that, it was difficult. So I ended up going to a condo first. So it made it much more functional and easier to sequence for, hey, lock my door, I'm out. The same security guys, you know, shoot them a little tip, say I'm out of town for a few days, you know, keep an eye on the building for me, and allow my, you know, my cleaning person to come in, whether it's every other day or weekly, to do what they have to do and out. So that was pretty convenient for me. And of course, if it was a condo that I owned, and the days I was out, I was probably able to make income.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering, I mean, I think the answer is a villa, but with, you know, in terms of 2-bedroom villa versus 2-bedroom condo, you know, which one has better ROI? You know, and
like that. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, I guess, you know, considering, I mean, I think the answer is it depends, right? It depends on what your HOA costs are. You know, figuring that if you have a villa, you got to, you know, pay for pool maintenance and garden maintenance and all that. And with someone willing to pay a little bit more for that private pool and that private villa, you know.
Right.
So on this particular property, it sold for $75,000, and if you rent it for $650 a month, it's just about $8,000 a year. Condo fees or HOA is $125 a month, so that's you know, your ROI on the small, you know, up in Caribe Campo isn't as good as you would get in Casa Linda, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
and rents are going up all the time as well with the prices.
Now, I hear people throw around occupancy rates and ratio. Are those accurate, or just optimistic thinking here? And before anyone answers, now before I was really concerned about it, I've dealt with a few landlords, whether they own their own properties, and I tend to hear that make a decision right away because there's other people trying to get it right now, whether it's renting, whether it's buying, or, you know, Airbnb and so forth. What is really happening right here in DR when it comes to you know, landlords basically not saying that you can't get it, but it's such a hot product, it's going right away.
in terms of sales, or
Well, I think both. I mean, rental, right?
yeah,
If you, I mean, Clayton, you and I, when I first came, I needed a property, right? I was at a condo in Sosua, which I really enjoyed the actual place, but where it was, I wasn't too crazy about it. But when it came to me looking for properties around, you know, I would find something nice and say, okay, I'll take a look at this and take a look at that. And every time I'm looking at something, you know, the landlord was like, listen, you got to make a decision right now. I'm like, listen, I didn't even get a contract. I didn't even get an agreement. He's like, send a deposit. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Now, at first it scared me, but when you have such a huge demand here, the landlord does have the upper hand. It's like the seller's market, right? I mean, that's what I've noticed. The culture where you're, not to say you're being put pressured on, but the owners are moving properties, whether they're renting it out, they're selling it, people want to use it for different reasons. It's in high demand.
Yeah. I mean, I think in talking to you know, sellers about their rental properties, I mean, I've heard everything from 70 to 90% occupancy. And you know, and I think in some cases that's true. You know, and in other cases, maybe it's 70, 90% during high season, you know, so, but are we factoring in low season into the percentages? And, you know, I'm sure only the kind of the bigger property management companies that have 50, 60 villas really know the real numbers, you know, and hopefully they are tracking them, and I wish they'd share them. You know, I think if I were planning ROI on a purchase, you know, I would probably, you know, you always want to under promise, over deliver. So, I mean, I think if I was going to do a budget, I would plan on 50% occupancy, which I think would be a pretty safe number. I think that's pretty realistic from what I see. And, and then put all the other cost in. And, if you're going to do a cost analysis of a property, I think that's probably a safer number. But then, if you hit those better numbers, then, then it's a bonus.
Well, you hit a key point there too. I mean, rather than property manage your own property and learn to hate it, if you hire somebody and pay them whatever they take off the top, not only will you have a better occupancy rate, but you won't hate your property because you won't be going down there or being called all the time. They'll just take care of, the screen's ripped, no problem, it's replaced. Light bulbs, no problem. You got a leak, okay, it's taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, and I think, there's other factors like checking people in, checking them out, making sure that like you said, the property is rentable. And I mean, that's one of the things we're considering, is, you don't want to check somebody into a property and then find out like, oh, gee, we need to fix the air conditioning. It's best to get that stuff on the front side before you have a client. So obviously, I think there's some property management opportunities out there.
So what you're saying, Clayton, or maybe Jim, I'm guessing that's like a hybrid system, right? So in essence, and I'm speaking to perhaps a person who actually buys, right? And they plan on living in a property, and of course they're talking ROI. When you look at management, right? Are you looking at management where having a hybrid approach is good, where there is technology and there is hands-on? Because right now I've noticed, and I've actually stayed at Airbnbs or different type of properties where you actually meet no one, right? It's a complete virtual communication via text, keyless entry just by code, and you're just communicating through an app or maybe a third-party platform. What do you think about that? Is that a approach used to save money where it works in the US, but do you think over here it takes away from the experience?
Well, I think from a owner standpoint, probably having that interpersonal relation, it doesn't mean that you can't use technology, that you can't have, digital door locks, that you can't do things like control the climate. You don't want to, electricity is expensive here. You don't want some renting your property, opening all the doors, leaving 5 ACs running, while they go to the beach, that's gonna, cost you everything you're making, on that deal. So you obviously, could use technology on that side, but so I think hybrid's probably the right term, not to mention until we can get the apps to do the dishes and change the sheets. I don't know if
Elon Musk is working on that, huh?
I'm sure he is. Yeah, I'll be the first to sign up. So, but
awesome stuff, man.
Yeah, I think as technology becomes a little more prevalent down it, there's issues. I've got things like my Alexas in the house and stuff like that, and there is power in and out and internet in and out. That's kind of a regular event down here, and it's tough to remain connected sometimes, so there's connectivity issues. But when you learn here, you adapt and you learn to deal with that kind of stuff. So but I think it would be pretty handy. I like when there's a key lock, and if I'm showing a house, I love it when they have a way to get in and show that I don't have to go find the property manager that has the key to show the house or whatever. It's nice to have that part of the technology. And I think, I've sold a house that was super smart, and from the climate control to where they knew exactly how much every device and appliance in the house cost them on a monthly basis, and they could control their bill based on how much, based on what appliances they ran and what time, how long do we going to run the pool filter for. He did some interesting things like dehumidifiers in conjunction with air conditioners, which apparently makes the air conditioner run more efficiently. And there's some pretty clever things. And for the 3-bedroom house that it was, he had a really, in my opinion, inexpensive electricity, or actually Canadians will call it hydro bill. And so yeah, you can definitely use technology to manage your property down here.
Yeah, hydro's
Thank
foreign
you.
to people down here. They're like, "What are you talking about? The water system?" I'm like,
Yeah,
electricity,
it took me like 5 years to figure that out. Like, what the hell are you talking hydro? California, it's PG&E, Pacific Gas and Electric.
Oh
But,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I think that, and I think houses are going to get better and smarter and more efficient and more that the other thing too with talking about the technology side of things, people have digital jobs now. I mean, they're digital nomads, and I love the story about everybody all their life says they're going to get a job and they're going to, when they retire, they're going to move down to the Caribbean and, enjoy or move to an island and enjoy life. And, these days you don't have to wait till you can bring your job with you and you can move to the Caribbean and you can digitally work here and enjoy life, go kiting in the afternoon, surfing, sit by the beach, whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat.
200 peso bacon cheeseburger at Ojo with French fries and tip or gratuity. No, taxes included. Yeah, that's we're going.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best deal in town, isn't it? Yeah,
Sitting in the backyard in screensaver style backdrops, right? Background. So I love it, man. Listen, I'm the first one to say that I'm enjoying everything Dominican Republic has to offer because I am a digital nomad, right? As one of the members of my company, we voted that we would transition or at least put an office of our technology company here in DR. And, after a really short vote, they picked me, and I'll be the guinea pig and try it out, right? So I was able to, the first thing I actually did, and this is important because it's one thing to take the information from, I would say in your case, Clayton, you've been here for 10 years, Jim, I think probably over 5. But what I did before I came, I literally called my attorney and I also called my CPA, right? Because, at the end of the day, you want to make sure that if you are generating income in a foreign country or you're generating income from the US or from Canada, what is it, what are the tax liabilities? So I would strongly advise if you are a business owner that's maybe planning to invest a lot of money, just consult with an attorney in the US just to understand the tax laws, how they work, what the regulations are. We know once you're a US citizen or Canadian, anywhere you make money, you owe Uncle Sam or you owe Tudro. I'm sorry, I don't know. But, you owe someone. Secondly, also too, the CPA, the accountant, to me, the importance of that is the moment you jump, I don't want to say, jump ship, but the moment you cross over, you now have what we call a portfolio, right? You have income somewhere else, you're living here. We have to identify, what are expenses, valid expenses for a foreign worker. So do you want to live, if are you renting an office? Is this office for work purposes? Are you living? Are you working from the home? These are things you need to find out because there's a portion of it, or in some cases, you can write off the entire amount while you work here. Now, if you employ people, you need to find out if you plan on having an assistant. Is it a virtual assistant? Is it someone that you have working back home that's operating, virtually? Is it someone that's living here and they're a Dominican national? How do you operate and deal with that? So there's a lot of things that I had to find out. Now, obviously, in one segment, I can't break it all down to you, but these were questions that came up. And I would say I've probably gotten at least 60 to 70% of the answers to those questions, right? And we can always discuss it further, but I would definitely advise, if you're retired, that's different. I think the comforter, which I think is equivalent to the homestead exemption in the US, plus if you're retired, I think in the military, you have some tax exemptions here as well that you can take advantage of. These are all areas I feel you should look into before you decide to just come here. At least have those answers, or there's at least the answers to those questions.
Right. You mentioned one thing about the veterans. I'm not a veteran, but my dad was. And I noticed in fact, I was sitting in the office and and a bus goes by with kind of a wrapped in U.S. soldier, graphics and U.S. Veteran Affairs. And so right here in Sosua, there's a U.S. Veteran Affairs office. And there's one in Puerto Plata, and I found out later, and there's one in Santiago, and there's one in Santo Domingo. So if you are a vet, you can come down here. They do things like they can, they'll help you with your medicines if you're on disability of any sort. They have a shuttle bus. They can take you around. They'll take you shopping. I believe they help you with other just sort of. In fact, I think that's a show we need to do. We need to get the veteran affair guys and get them on camera and talk to them about it, because I know for a lot of vets, this is a lifestyle that I mean, a veteran's pension's not always great, but I'd say that your dollar goes further down here, and you could potentially live in a pretty nice lifestyle down here, plus have your veteran affairs taken care of while you're here. I think that's something that's definitely available to vets and is worth looking into.
There's a couple different groups down here. Veterans Abroad, I think, is one of them, and then Cerise Fairfax did a show with the one that I was on, and she brought the girl from Puerto Plata on. I can't remember her name exactly right now, but that's all she does. She's an American, and she just services other veterans.
Mm-hmm.
She's a veteran herself.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a weird question, but the veteran affair here, is it any military from different parts of the country or specific for that country?
U.S. Veteran Affairs, I think, is what it is. Yeah.
All right, cool, gotcha. It's probably a camp for all the guys.
I don't know if there's any equivalent. The other thing for American citizens here is there's a consulate in Puerto Plata. There's, of course, an embassy in Santo Domingo. You can renew your passport down here. You can, I think they have other services in terms of visas. If if your spouse is not an American citizen, they can assist you there. Basically anything that any consulate around the world would do. But like I said, I know in Puerto Plata there's a consular office. They just opened it up, now a friend of mine tried to renew his passport, and there's sort of an internal delivery system around here. So you put your application in, it'll go off to the passport office, but you can actually get a U.S. passport delivered to your door here in the DR. So,
wow, that's amazing.
For what that's worth.
That's good stuff. Yeah, that's good to know for sure.
So, what else you got, Jim? Anything?
I can knock them out, guys. You know me.
I got nothing. We're coming
the
up
one going through it. You guys are the veterans in this game.
Activity. What do you want to talk about?
We're coming up on an hour. That's usually my limit, so I like to get out on time. It's 10. Ouch. I'm dealing with a really sore back, so this stool in front of the computer is a place I try not to sit as long as possible. But I'm glad you guys came out and answered some questions. We get some new listings promoted, and then give some background on immigration, and then we should do a show strictly to recruit agents, what the office offers, and go deep into the services and location and the split and all that kind of stuff. That'll be a kind of a specialty show. Maybe we can bring on a couple more agents that we've got in the office and just delve in deeper to that. But I appreciate your time, boys. And it seems like we're going live Tuesdays, 7 p.m. My time is your time now, same as Eastern Standard Time. I wish they'd stop. I wish they'd scrap that daylight savings time, man. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Except when I get to sleep in for my men's group an extra hour. But
I gotta get my plug in here.
Dibs is making an appearance. Yeah, he looks as friendly as ever.
Hey, Dibs.
What up, Dibby?
My sidekick.
He's a bad boy.
Yeah, he is you're a bad
Chico Malo. All right, boys, I appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your night with your families, and we'll talk to you. Well, we'll talk to AJ next week, and we'll find out who else is going to join us. Thanks to Blade for coming in. DJ Blade came in early. He had a commitment at 7 o'clock, so we jumped on early, but we'll go in depth a little bit more with Blade another time. and get you guys in again. And thank you and good night now. Is there anything else you want to
Jim, appreciate it, guys. Thank you, Clayton.
Thank you very much. Yep.
All right, bro.
All right.
Peace
All right.
out, yo.
See you guys.
All right, that's how you do that, and then you just do a hard cut end meeting for all, and then they're gone, they're disappeared, they're just enter the digital wasteland. Here's Blade's Facebook page. I'll put it in the comments section right now, so it's there because I did not put him in the title. I wasn't sure that he was coming in. There's Blade. Hit him up if you're down here and you need a DJ or you need a haircut. Talk to my boy DJ Blade. Peace, love, hug your neighbor, and I